What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You can probably guess where I'm going to. Yep, it's to get the new wheels, those 24x14s. Got about a 5-hour drive before I get there. They're in Alabama, so about 300 miles each way. And I noticed on his description, he didn't say anything about having any curb rash or anything, but he sent me a picture. It looks like one of them has just a little bit of damage on one side, but I should be able to fix that no problem, because I'm getting a pretty good deal on him. So we'll check him out when we get there. We have just got the wheels. You can see one wheel sticking out on the windshield right here, and if you look on top, got one there, another one back, and we're way back here in the middle of Nowheresville. It's probably like a mile or so on this back road. I don't even know if anybody else lives back here except this one house. Like, there is nothing back here. Well, we made it to the first gas stop. Still hanging in there. Doesn't look like they moved much. This one's a little loose. Tighten it up a little bit. Them are still hanging in there. It's the next morning. I made it back around 2 a.m. this morning, and now it's around 11 a.m. So I've got the wheels now. Get the wheels unloaded here. I'm gonna bolt the rear wheels up just to kind of see how they look and see if I have enough spacers. And then the front, I've got my spindles in the car as well. I've got to get the spindles put in and pull them spacers off the front to install that. Then we get to install the front wheels. I've got one wheel unloaded, so I'm kind of going to roll it up here just to kind of get an idea how big it is. Again, once it's bolted up, of course the truck's going to be lifted up just a little higher. But you can tell just by looking at it here, it's almost as high as the fender. I've got two sides mounted up, and it gets a little too close to the inside there, so I'm going to have to get an additional set of spacers to push these wheels out just a little farther. See how close they get to that right there. And same with the other side. See right there, it rubs out a little bit. So I got to get one more set, get that taken care of. And also I've got to get a couple new lugs. I noticed the Ranger factory lugs are actually bigger than the 6-lug Chevys, so if I get me some of those and get those spacers ordered. You can see just how wide it's going to be. It's going to be another 2-inch spacer on each side to clear. Basically for axle, when the axle rolls up and down, I will need a little bit extra clearance. Even though this side here is not quite touching, the other side is rubbing. I ended up going up front and taking some of those wheel spacers off and putting them back here to see how it's going to look with the additional one. They are ordered, but like I said, I just want to make sure I have enough of them. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We got 12 inches from there out to here. I temporarily set up one of the front wheels just to kind of see where it's at. Like I said, I took the spacers off the front to move it back. Took 2 off of here to move them to the back side until them new ones come in. So here's about how it should look. The offset should look about like that. Obviously the wheels need to be cleaned up, but as you can see, it looks pretty crazy. Those wheels look huge for that little truck. And probably the next thing I'll do is start putting that roll pan on there on the rear and start paint matching the bumpers, the grill, and whatever else. I've got the whole front bumper taken off, getting it ready to paint. Took the 2 pieces apart. Top's gonna be white, bottom black. And I got the rear bumper taken off as well. And I got the roll pan here. which is gonna sit right up in here. If I can get it set into here. I did notice it's a little too long, it's got to be cut down. See if I can get it into here. Go look something like that when it's on. Like you can see, it's playing too long over here. Have to trim that down, and should look pretty clean. The roll pan is on. I actually had to take it back off and lower it a little bit to give the tailgate enough room, enough of a gap there so it can open and close without scraping it. So pretty easy install. Looks much better. It's clean, and once you get the rest of it wrapped, it should look good. I've got the top wrapped now. Put that third brake light in. You can see right here. Got it all wrapped up. Pretty easy to do the top. It's a pretty flat area, so wasn't bad at all. Still got to do this door, this bedside, and the tailgate. Outside of that, of course, I've got to paint that black as well, and I've got to paint the front bumper. Got the new decal going on. Actually, it's made out of that same vinyl right there in the back. I'm working on changing the wheel bearings. You got the inner and the outer. I already bought the outer before I even started because I figured I'd change it, or actually that was the inner in this case. And I started looking at the inner one, and my new spindle has actually got a larger diameter where the outer bearing sits right there. It's a 0.85 instead of a 0.75. So I actually had to go to town and get a different wheel bearing. I figured out that the F-150, like a 90 or a 2001 F-150 wheel bearing, outer is the one it needs. You can see the hole is bigger. Well, that one, that's a 0.85, and the there's 0.75. The outer is the same. So if you do the spindle, just know that you probably need the F-150 wheel bearing. I got the driver's side all bolted up, got the spacers on, got the adapter on, and it actually looks like I got full tilt on the steering. So I should be able to turn pretty good. I'm not sure about the other way, where that front wheel will be, but this way it actually clears. I just got it finished up. I finished wrapping the other side. You see just how wide it really is right there. Drove it a little bit down the road, drove fine. So the only thing I've got left is to wrap that tailgate in the back, which is still white. Now that I have both wheels mounted up, I'm going to see how much I can really turn, how much steering angle I have. Let me start it up. Actually, that's almost full rotation. Really close. Need to go take it for a drive and to see how it drives. That is pretty wide. Actually doesn't drive that bad. Curious if they're gonna hold up if I try to hit some bumps and stuff with it. Not sure how strong these wheel spacers are. that's gonna be the end of this video. Next one, we'll have to put it through some tests to see what it'll hold up to, and of course I still have to paint the bed, put the rear speakers in, put the rock lights in, and I got all the spark plugs on. So we'll see you next time.